Hello, how is Paloma doing? Well, I know what you're thinking. That's not Paloma, my Cape Parrot. That is Azure. But stick around and find out how my biggest challenge with parrots is doing today. Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond, and this is my Cape Parrot. It is not Paloma, it is Macy. Today I had to take Paloma to the vet. I was so happy to take her to the vet. And here's some quick footage of what the vet's office was like. I heard a phone ringing. Was that you? Was that you? How awesome was that? They had 2 green wings, 2 Amazons, a African gray, and was there more? I can't remember if there were more making noise or not. I was sitting in the waiting room to go in, and I hear the phone ringing. And it was just like, obviously not really the phone, but really, really close. You're like, oh, that's right. There was an African gray there. So my greatest challenge with parrots is when they are like showing symptoms and you're like, oh my God, I can't tell. Is my parrot not feeling well? It can really drive me a little crazy. Some of the symptoms that I look for are weight loss, funny looking poops, not perching, like going to the bottom of the cage, not putting their beak in their back, like when they're not well. With sometimes a sign is instead of being on one foot and putting their beak into their back like they do, they'll stay on 2 feet and they'll stay facing forward. It's almost like they're not feeling well and maybe they can't get all that balance to turn themselves into a parrot pretzel. So those are the like big signs I look for, and whether or not they're genki. Genki is a Japanese word that means like a monkey. How come you don't want to be in the video with me? It means that they're animated, they're jumpy, they're like their usual selves. And so Paloma was also not genki. She was just really being mellow, kind of tired. She was coming up to me like this and just going boop, 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 boop. And just like putting her head next to me and her beak next to me. And it was like, I felt like she was trying to tell me something, and she was. But I was looking at her and I'm looking and I'm going, you're eating, you're perching, you're putting your beak in your back. Like, I couldn't quite figure it out. And I'm like, are you just tired or? That's Azure. I'm working on taming her, so she's just in the room. So if you saw yesterday's video on my greatest challenge with parrots, it's reading those signs and knowing when, yes, I need to take them to the vet, and when, no, don't take them, they're just sleepy today or whatever, just like us, parrots can have an off day. And it's like, don't take them to the vet. It's kind of stressful. It's expensive. It's like this expenditure of time and energy and money. And it's just, and so if I don't have to take them to the vet, I really prefer not to. I mean, it seems just super obvious. But anyway, where does the line get crossed from it's okay, give them a day or whatever, to red flag, take them? Because parrots can go down so fast that I'm always kind of like jumping the gun. I'm always looking at them and going, do I need to take you? Do I need to take you? Do I need to take you? Because, when they have to go, they have to go. Just like when they're being loud, they're being loud. All right, so here's a little footage of Paloma at the vet. Okay, Paloma, so we made it to the vet, and it's really funny. They have birds here. And if you listen, they're making all sorts of noise. They have a couple Amazons, a couple macaws, and an African gray. And if the phone rings, that's the gray. Huh, Paloma? So we'll see what the vet says about Paloma. And, she did pretty good. She one thing that I love about African capes is they're not all riled up. So she was pretty mellow and, you know, just fine. And she let the vet hold her. And it's not like she didn't try to get away, but it's not, a lot of parrots will be like squawking like Azure is, or really fighting the vet. You know, their feet are coming out or their beaks are going. And, you know, she was kind of like a little like, but she just wasn't fighting a lot. And it could be because she's not tired. But the thing is, African capes, they're just not drama queens. So they're not going to have like this super reaction. So the vet did a gram stain. And in case you're not familiar with what that is, after weighing her, she did a gram stain. A gram stain is they take a sample of their poop. So they'll get like a kind of like a Q-tip, but obviously a medical big one. And they'll just rub it. She just rubbed it on the bottom of her carrier because it had poop already. Like, parrots are really good at supplying poop samples. And she left with the gram stain, went to her microscope, and they put a stain on it that like lights up if there's certain bacteria or something like that. That's accurate enough for me as just a parrot owner and a blissful person who just loves parrots because parrots are my bliss. But that's enough so that she can look and see if there's bacteria. So she came back and she said, look, there's no bacteria, but there is yeast. So we're going to treat her for yeast. And she said it's just really common with such a young parrot because Paloma is about 7 months. She said their immune systems aren't all the way built up yet and they can just get yeast. She said, well, you know, she'll get this medicine for a week and then we'll look and see if that's all it was. It'll be done. If not, you know, we'll come back and kind of take the next step, that kind of thing. So what a relief. I'm just thrilled, especially, you know, it's kind of interesting. I kind of feel like Paloma didn't have signs that she was really sick, but having yeast in your system can be hard. It can give you brain fog. It can make you tired. So it's like you're not sick. And a parrot, if you don't know this, a parrot can get like mucus at their nares, which is their like the holes for their nose. They can get like watery or you know, eyes that just look a little sick, and they can get crud in their mouth as well. So just like you and I can have symptoms when we have something going on, they can too. So it was funny because like those signs are obvious. When your parrot's bubbling mucus, like sometimes when they breathe and you get a bubble, kind of like young kids do, that flag is bright red. Take them to the vet. I mean, the truth is you've kind of missed something before that and they're pretty bad. So she didn't have anything like that. She didn't have the ones, you know, the behavioral symptoms I look for. And I think it's because it wasn't a normal bacterial infection. It was a yeast infection. So really thrilled. Plus, it was kind of interesting. The vet I had to go to, you know, one of my backup vets, and she had information on, like I walked away with all these pamphlets. Information on parrots, and if you know me, you know I wrote a book. I'm working on a second book on parrotlets, and I love information about parrots because they are my bliss. And then this was interesting, recommended fruit and vegetable list. And this is like one of the only fruit lists that I agree with because the fruits are not apples, they're not grapes, they're not like blueberries or raspberries. They're pumpkin, they're cantaloupe, they're carrots. It's things that are going to give the parrots beta carotene, which they need. So she said you want to give your parrot green and orange vegetables, and I think that's a really good way of thinking about it. Green is going to be the broccoli, collard greens, romaine. So I was really impressed with that. Hormonal behavior, I'm looking forward to reading that. Feather picking, I'm looking forward to reading about that. I mean, like, I know all this, but metal poisoning, I want to understand what the signs are so that if anyone ever asks me, or heaven forbid, if my parrots should ever run into it, I can't think of like any heavy metals that they should be able to run into. But then again, right now, Macy's on the curtain rod eating some wood. What is psittacosis? Because I think psittacosis, nope, that's a different one. That's a different disease that one of my other vets had said was like all eradicated, and now it's coming back. But psittacosis is probably, I think it's one of the only ones that we can also get, so that's probably why they have something on it. Apple cider vinegar, I think that would be a good video too. So, just like, I think that I would call it a good experience. I would call it a great experience, but I never think taking my birds to the vet is great. But, so, I'm going to end with a little footage of Paloma on the ride home, but now she's in her cage and just resting. I gave her her first dose of medicine, and I just wanted her to take it easy, and that's why she's not here. And of course, I was like, oh, perfect. I'll just have Macy with me, and she flies away. So that's how it goes. Thank you for joining me in a much more blissful day where we overcame the challenge. And really, that is my biggest challenge with my parrots. It's not like taking care of them. It's not cleaning their cages. It's not giving them fresh vegetables. It is recognizing when there's something wrong and they need to go to the vet. And recognizing when it's not like green, good, you're good, you don't have to go. Yellow, maybe they have to go. Like that yellow light, do they have to go to the vet? Do they not have to go to the vet? Or they have no, what's going on? That is probably my biggest challenge. By the time the light's red, my God, sound the alarms. Thanks for joining me in this blissful video. If you have any questions about parrots, please be sure to comment or post below. If you enjoy the video, please be sure to like and comment, and then make sure you hit the bell so that YouTube lets you know when I publish my next video, which is usually every day. I haven't missed one in a while so far. Thank you, and I will see you in the next blissful video where I love sharing my bliss about my 18 species of parrots with you, and I love hearing about yours and helping you really get more of a blissful bond with your parrots. What are you doing, Paloma? Got you your first little dose of meds. Are you already feeling a little better? Are you feeling a little better? Mm-hmm.